Well, I'm I'm excited to give you all the live demonstration of how to moderate a live broadcast. And I'll be using a tool called Streamyard, but it's really more about the art of making the host look like a rock star. And Andrea asked me to give this topic today, but I thought that our group call today is a good demonstration of why it might not be such a good idea to host and moderate your own conference call. What do you think, Andrea? Yeah. and I don't know if Rebecca wants to chime in, but she sure seemed real chipper to delegate this to anybody that was willing to take it. And it's because there is just too much for one person to do. Andrea has to remember to remind us what to do. And then she's got to put sticky notes, right? And it just turns into quite a catastrophe. And you can see her nodding her head. She's like all with it on me on this. So I decided, why don't I show NSA Colorado what I've been doing for the last 2 months? And it was only because I had a experience in television broadcasting that I was easily able to adopt the tools that StreamYard made so easy. I mean, they revolutionized the ability to do a virtual live stream like this. And I am here to share it with you. So number one rule of live broadcasting: do not host or do not moderate your own hosting experiences. It's just it's a real difficult thing. Number two, when you've got your host and your guest and they've decided on an event date and time, the next thing to do is to send out detailed instructions. Coach them up a little bit like Stacy did, and inform them about the camera at eye level and the lighting and the best case scenario for recording and collecting audio. And so now I just would like to share my screen and bring you along on a ride with me while I moderate a live broadcast right now. So here I am in the back end of this studio, and this is my background that I've chosen. Right here you can see. And then here are my host and my guest and me. And this is like our preview. This is about a half an hour before we go live, and we do a little rehearsal. Hi, Angie. Hi, Michael. Okay, I'm going to take my headset out, and I'm going to crank my volume up. Say hello again, and let's see if the people watching on Zoom can hear you.
Can you guys hear us? Hello.
Hi.
All right, we got a thumbs up from Andrea, so it sounds like we're doing all right. And what I'll do in this preview of this live broadcast is just go through some of the slides with my host and my guest. So I've got a logo that'll go up there. I've got a screenshot of Michael's website. I've got some images of Michael's live broadcasting in live format, and then a pretty nice brand shot right there. and then we've got a little video that we can play to intro the show. So Angie will go on right after her little intro video. She'll introduce the show, and then she'll bring on the guest, and she'll host a little live broadcast. So up here in the upper right-hand corner, you can see I've got a Go Live button. And I'm going to click that button in a little bit, and then it's going to go to a private YouTube live stream. So what that means is that it won't be listed to the public. And this would be very similar to our Zoom call, where it would just be the people invited who would be watching the broadcast. Of course, You can go public if you wish, but most people are used to doing Zoom calls, and luckily for us, YouTube allows us to publish an unlisted live broadcast so that we can use it just like we've been using Zoom calls without publishing it to the world, if that's what we want to do. So over here on the right-hand side, you can see comments, and this is where I can post a comment publicly, and then people who are watching live can also post a comment, and then me as the moderator, I can post that comment up on the broadcast. So this does allow for the host and the guest to interact with viewers who just happen to stumble upon the live broadcast. It's a nice feature. Here are the banners, and I'll go over this with both the host and the guest. It'll say, welcome to Clutch Businesses. Angie's your hostess. Michael's the guest. Michael, is that the correct spelling of your name? Is that the right title you'd like to use?
Yep.
Okay. Then we've got a call to action for Angie. We've got a call to action for Michael. And then, of course, we want to promote the next event that we've got coming up. So I've got a little ticker that can go in here at the bottom. Okay, so those are the banners that I'm going to use for the broadcast. And here we've already gone over some of these brand images. In a private chat, I can send this to Angie and Michael. Please sit up straight. Good posture. And they don't need that, though. They have great posture. Okay, so we're about to go behind the curtain, and we're going to go live. And exactly at 4:45, we will we'll bring on the intro video, and you'll be able to introduce the guests. Sound good, Angie?
Sounds great.
All right. See you on the other side. Now, you'll notice in this live broadcast that I will not be on screen at all. You won't ever see me. I'll just be behind the screens, behind the scene, pulling all the strings. Okay, so we're going to go live right now, and we're live in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now, welcome to Clutch Businesses. I've got a little ticker that goes in here that notifies people that they can be more engaged with us. And then I've told them here that I'm grateful for them joining us and that we're planning on going live on time at 4:45. Oh, which is perfect here. We're going to go live a little early, but you can see how this would play out real nicely if we were really to have planned and scheduled this to go live at 4:45. Somebody would be able to tune in because this would be live streaming right now to Facebook and YouTube, and they could stumble across it on their timeline, and they can start watching, and they can see with this ticker that it's going to be actual content in the next 2 minutes, so they'll be able to come on. Okay. Well, we're going to pretend it's 4:45 right now, and we're going to go ahead and play that intro video for Angie right now.
To have a successful business, it often feels like you have to sacrifice having a killer life. And most of the things that you spend your time doing throughout the day have nothing to do with why you started a business in the first place. I'm Angie Vahl with Clutch Businesses. I work with passionate female entrepreneurs who are solving amazing problems in the world. I take them out of their operational abyss into a place where they have more free time and greater fulfillment in their lives. All right, welcome back to Totally Clutch, the Clutch Businesses podcast and blog. Today we've got a special guest with us, Michael Herring. He's a video producer for large conferences and events all over the country. And he's here to talk to us about his transition to the virtual space. So producing events in a virtual format. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Angie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. It's good to be here with you.
Good. Yeah, thanks so much. So do you want to just give the audience a little introduction to your background and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out in video production and slowly moved into event services and producing. And I've worked with clients like Mars M&M's, Johnsonville Brats, and some maybe talent that you know, like Harry Connick Jr., Keith Urban, and J-Lo, or to name a few. And I went from just producing video, being on the tech side, to finding out that there's more of an experience working with people. So I do that a lot as well, but I also help with a lot of event service companies here in Denver to produce large shows, or at least I used to before COVID came. And that's kind of where I'm at. I do a lot of video engineering and also post-production.
Great, thank you. So I guess, you know, we've seen a lot of large events transition from an in-person live event to a virtual format over the last couple of months, and some of them have had wild success with it. So their numbers have actually been greater than they were when the events were in person, and some have not been as successful. But I'm wondering if you can talk to us about what's changed for you. So how does producing something in person differ from the virtual space?
The only difference I would say is tech. The similarities between a live event, I should say a virtual live event, and an in-person live event, the similarities are almost the same across the board except for tech. The only thing that we're changing is the way that it's delivered, right? Our distribution and our communication. But the things that are the same are actually engagement. And I think that's the most important part. The best part about an in-person live event is that you're engaged with your audience as a speaker, and your audience is able to respond back to you. And I think that's the most important part about a live event that is virtual, right? Is that you get to engage with your audience. And if you can find out the best way to do that, that's going to exponentially curve your ability to reach more people when you're doing a live event.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And then for anybody that's interested in doing a virtual event, whether it's taking what would have been a live event or a live in-person event and bringing it into a virtual event, or somebody that's just launching a brand new event, how do they get started? What kind of things do they need to do?
Yeah, so I would say the first step is coming up with a run of show. Just like you do in a live in-person event, you would do the same thing on a virtual event, is develop your run of show. What are the topics that you want to cover? How are you going to engage with your audience for each one of those topics? And what are some of the takeaways that you want your audience to do when they're not only in the virtual event, but after? And that also helps with your brand integrity and things like that. Some of the best live event services companies out there are actually growing in this time. And that's really exciting because so many times we're limited to our space and the reach that we have. But now we have an international reach, an international audience, and our demographic just got larger because we're live. And so people can attend from all over the world, and having that kind of community reach is really important when you're live.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. I think, this is obviously just, we're brushing the surface here of this topic. And I think, I'm sure that people have a lot more questions for you specifically on this. And so I just encourage, if you do have questions, by all means, please leave them in the chat, or you can email either of us, going to our website. You can email me directly at hello@clutchbusinesses.com. And then, Michael, is there anything else that, that you think that we should share with everybody?
The tech is scary, but that's why people like me are here, and Anthony too, because it can be fun, it can be exciting, and I think live events are wonderful because you have breakout sessions and engagement and stuff like that, but you can do that through Zoom, you can do that through a myriad of different platforms, and so I would say don't worry about the tech as much. Focus on the performance, the experience for your audience, and let professionals like me take over the tech.
That's awesome. Yeah, really good words of encouragement. So cool. Well, thanks so much, Michael. I really appreciate you being here, and I think it'll be interesting to see all of the virtual events that come out of this. And yeah.
Angie, it was so good to talk to you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, Michael.
Okay. So
that was awesome. That was awesome.
My live demo.
That.
Thank you.
That was amazing, Anthony.
So cool to see that in action for sure. That was really cool. So we had a whole bunch of questions. We have a whole bunch of questions, but I also know, let us know if you have some other things you want to say, but otherwise I can start firing off some of the questions.
No, go ahead. I know that a live demonstration like that is a lot, and getting to see behind the curtains kind of gave you way more information than you were expecting. So I was anticipating lots of questions, and I'm happy to answer each one of them. We've got, what, 10 minutes left?
Yeah. So one of the questions is, now, this was coming up, StreamYard doesn't really play with Zoom, right? It's basically StreamYard is the platform. It's sort of Zoom-like in that you've got people, but there's no Zoom to StreamYard kind of thing, right? It's just StreamYard, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And they do different things too.
Right.
Obviously, Zoom doesn't allow me the freedom to storytell visually as well as StreamYard does. But StreamYard doesn't let me do breakouts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to pick your weapon.
Right. So it's just different, like meeting format like this versus like interview, presentation more like, and how many people can you have on a StreamYard? What's the limit? Six?
You can have 6 people on a panel in StreamYard. And obviously I'm one of them as the moderator. So 5 would be on the screen, and you'd never see the moderator.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then the other thing is, there was something about broadcasting to LinkedIn Live. Is that, it looks like it's an option to choose on mine, but you have to, is that available if you have LinkedIn Live enabled? Do you know?
Okay, yes, and that's very exciting, especially for professionals like us. Mm-hmm. LinkedIn is the untapped market for live broadcasting, and it's slowly emerging. It's been given to those who are the most persistent in asking for it. Mm-hmm. So my advice is to ask for it, get denied, and keep asking for it. I still haven't achieved my access yet, but it's just so new. It's like 3 months new, brand spanking new. Right. And they actually rolled out a brand new update yesterday, which I read and I haven't executed it yet, but LinkedIn just recently allowed events. So now we can promote events on LinkedIn. And Streamyard has an integration that allows the event to be a live stream. So that, I hope, brings a whole lot more of us together through LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Another question is on the cost. So are you using the basic version, or is this like a higher level
It's
version?
just $20 a month. and
20
you
bucks a
pay
month, yeah.
a month, so not difficult to digest.
Awesome. Okay, and Dick is asking, what do you recommend for mics and headphones? Do you have some recommendations there as well?
Well, the kind of headset that has earphones and a mic would be the best, but Stacy's got a good headset where it's just the headset and then an exterior mic like that one.
Yeah.
Right? It's done a pretty good job in canceling out the bad noise, but the thing you want to be careful about is just a room that's a box without any linens in it. That could sound real tinny.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or maybe you're in a place where there's a lot of commotion. Obviously, that would pick up. So,
yeah. Great. Let me just see what other questions we had. Oh, what should we budget for an interaction like this? I'm not sure what that means, Keith. Like for hosting someone? Maybe Keith can like clarify that.
yeah, it's about $500, similar to a regular video production.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about this one is that you're capitalizing on the free advertising that Facebook and YouTube is giving you. And it can be a great way to actually multi-purpose that content.
Yeah.
Just extract the text out of it and write a blog, or extract the audio out of it and publish your podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually I saw something. So one of the questions Molly just asked was creating frames and borders around each participant. And when you have like multiple participants up, can you do, like I saw someone that had a background then that made it look like they were all in frames. Like it was just a plain background. I don't know if they were using StreamYard or something else, but you can't really, you're kind of limited by the templates they have. Is that right?
Yeah, you saw me use several different camera angles. Mm-hmm. There was the side-by-side, mm-hmm. which left a lot of space above and below, and I customized that for Angie. And then there's the straight-up side-by-side this way, which was kind of cutting off the sides of each video. And then there was a large video and a small video screen. And so being able to kind of follow the flow of the conversation, which is one of my bullet points, allows the viewer to have a better experience. And that's my job as the moderator, is to make sure that I've got a good understanding of the content and that I can pass off what they're saying verbally in a visual way. Right.
Right. And then, I think one of the advantages too, if you're broadcasting this to a YouTube private thing, is that you could do it live, right? You could do it like, so you're going live on Facebook, but if you're broadcasting it to a private thing, then you're not live at that point, but you're using that video in different ways. You could then later make it public or embed it on your site, or you could, do lots of things with that video where it's produced, but, and live, but not, just a quick production, I think. Yeah. Yeah,
you're right. The multi-purposing is almost endless with this type of format.
Right. I love it. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to have Stacy announce some of what is going on next, but that was awesome. Thank you. And thank you to Stacy too, for your great tips on everything. This has been an amazing session. So thank you guys. And Stacy's going to tell us what's next.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much, Anthony. That was fascinating.